Ladies and gentlemen, we're only about 5 days into the new account now, and we're only at level 31, which I'm not sure if that's a good thing or a bad thing, especially if we go over and take a look at some of the champions that I have. I feel like there's a couple of mistakes that I made here and there. And of course, if you want to go ahead and check out the game for yourself, make sure to use my link down in the description in order to get some pretty good rewards. All you have to do is click it, it'll then take you to a page where you actually have to fill in your details, make a new account, log in, and you'll basically be able to get these. You get some really good champions that can help you progress really far into the game, and it's also the link that we used to start this new account. And so if you want to go ahead and make a new account for yourself, make sure to click that link. But back to the account itself, I'm pretty sure that on day 3, which is the last video, we were already at level 27, which is basically 4 levels ahead, but I don't know, man, it feels like something's off. Yesterday I did manage to ascend to Hanarak all the way up until 3 stars, which allowed us to unlock her passive skill, which is basically this. It makes her an even more broken support than she already is, cause this allows us to remove debuffs from our team, which basically means that if we're ever inflicted with a poison or something and our champion takes a turn, then they won't be taking any damage at all, I think. Which is something I thought I really needed, especially when paired with my boy Kakarot, who unfortunately, I don't know, man. I don't know if it's him that's lacking in terms of performance, he's just way too squishy. Or maybe it's the build that I'm running. This is the one that we normally use in story content. And you can see here that we have HP instead, just so that we can actually survive. But even with these gears over here, we're still stuck in the story, man. If we go over to the campaign, you can see that we're struggling to clear with full stars over here. And of course, in order to get those stars, we need to only have 2 champions, and alright, let's actually see how it performs. I did try it when I was missing this passive over here, and if I remember correctly, these enemies place poisons that can actually kill us. But of course, there's only one way to find out. I think the problem here is that Karato's simply not doing enough damage to clear the opponents fast enough, but then he also needs to survive, and imagine we didn't have the HP gear on. He'd already be dead by now. And Tahanarak isn't necessarily the best champion when it comes to being a healer, but you can see here, she's doing pretty good, man. As long as the champion next to her doesn't die. Okay, but I think we're actually able to get the 3 stars. Hold on, hold on. Whoa. Nah, we got this. We got this. Wow, so unlocking her passive was all that we needed. Alright, but can I do the hardest one? And this is one that had me stuck completely. Let's see, let's see. Okay, we managed to get through the first 2 waves. But this of course is the deciding moment. Wow. So her passive is that huge? There's no way, what? Okay, it seems that the roadblock that I thought was there was not actually there. We made it to brutal stage 12, guys. Nah, that is a feat. Alright, if I can beat stage 3 over here, then that means I can clear the rest. Let me actually just do this right now. Alright, this is where it actually counts though. This is where it counts the most. Ooh. Okay, Karato's almost dead. Uh-oh. Ooh, okay. Now we eat those, we eat those. Now this makes me wonder, because if I didn't have the HP gear on, he'd basically be dead right now. Okay, okay, just like that, ladies and gentlemen. Nah, that is incredible, man. And that means that once we get all the remaining stars, we then get ourselves a sacred. Alright, but back to the account itself, because I did forget to mention quite a lot of things. Like I said, we managed to ascend her and unlock the 3rd skill, but I also decided to buy out all the masteries for Karato. Now unfortunately, the only one that we're missing is the last one that's here, but in order to unlock this, yep, have to get the 6 stars first. And since we managed to reach level 30, that means we get this dude. the Mausoleum Mage, who unfortunately I don't know if I'm gonna build him. I also managed to get a Rebellower over here, and I used the promo code welcome gift to actually get him. There's also these other promo codes that you can use to get yourself some pretty good rewards, but I think you can only use a certain amount within a week of creating your account. I also decided to rank 5 my spirit host because there was a whole mission that required me to do so. Just think of her as a chicken, we're not actually gonna use her. And we need 4 other champions to actually rank someone up all the way up until 6 stars. Yep, we've got a long way to go. For the missions themselves, I'm currently here in... I think this is a little bit too slow, man. I feel like we should already be at like maybe even 60 out of 75. And I think that specific part has to do with how weak my main champion is. I don't know if it's the ascension that he needs because he only has 2 stars and getting the third one gets him this specific skill. Damage inflicted by this champion cannot be decreased by the enemy passive skills or masteries except by passive skills or bosses. That is incredible, and if only it ended there. Damage inflicted by this champion cannot be increased by either this champion's masteries or ally passive skills except when attacking bosses, which means that his damage is going to be less? I might be understanding that wrong, but that just seems like a negative in my opinion. Right now at 2 stars we basically have the full potential, but oh my goodness. Do let me know down in the comments if you know though. Whenever Yumiko dies, instantly grants yeah, we don't have Yumiko, it doesn't matter. And so I'm in a bit of a dilemma. Yes, if I take him all the way up, we do get some more base stat increases, but then we also get a skill that reduces our damage. But of course, since this is the main champion of the account, I have to max him out, man. And maybe also get some good gear for him, but like I mentioned before, if we didn't have 2 of these HP pieces, we might not live longer than we actually do. If we switch over to this one has crit rate, attack percent, and speed boots, which is generally the set that you want to run on your attackers. Alright, let me actually see how it performs in a fight. Yep, we're almost dead. Okay, the damage that he's dealing is a bit more, but let's see if he actually survives. 7,000. Okay, that's a bit low. Uh-oh. Ooh. Okay, but he's still alive. And I also forgot to mention that if you want to actually see what specific masteries you should give your champions, there's a website called Hell Hades where you can actually check for that. You simply scroll down to this section and yep, that's basically it. Somehow we made it. Okay. Ooh, before I forget, we're supposed to actually forge some gear. You can probably see that in the gear department, we're pretty weak when it comes to it. And so I think it's time that we actually get some gear. In this specifically, we go to the forge and you can see that there's some pieces that we can get. Now these specific materials that you use in order to craft them, I don't know where you get all of them, but the one that I'm sure of is this red one that you can actually get from the faction wars. Just like you can see right here. Okay, but back to the forge, and I think we'll craft this specific set and also the perception one. You can see here that it gives 40 accuracy, which is basically, okay, that's a whole other, oh my goodness. If we go to a champion like Karato for example, you can see that he only has 21 accuracy. And in a fight, there's 2 different factors when it comes to actually placing debuffs on the opponent. For example, you can see that Karato on his third one applies a block active skills debuff. But sometimes on an opponent, placing this debuff can actually be resisted, which depends on the enemy's resistance, which is basically this. And so you always want to make sure that you have as high accuracy as you can, just so that you can inflict the debuffs that you want to. And on this account specifically, there's a whole bunch of champions that want this. Gam has a 30% chance of placing a leech debuff. Now in cases where he actually hits the 30%, the opponent can either be inflicted with it or actually resisted based on their resistance and our accuracy. If the opponent only has 10 resistance and we have, let's say 11, then that means that we can inflict our debuff. I think. And so having as much accuracy as you can on champions that actually want to place debuffs onto the opponent, it's something that's a very big deal. Because these debuffs can potentially cause you to either win or lose a fight. For any champion that inflicts debuffs, you can see here Tahanarak places some, Kakarot too, like I mentioned, Kale with his poison debuffs, those also count. This dude, basically everything that has to do with you placing something on the opponent. Hopefully that helps. Which is why the perception set can take us very far, cause we're getting 40 accuracy per 2 pieces that we have. Okay, but enough of the yapping, let's see what we get. And before we go ahead and make some, we always want to make sure that we have some charms, which do different effects based on whatever they say over here, but let's see what we get. Ooh, nah, that is pretty good actually. It has speed, which is the most important part, and crit damage too, which I guess we can put on Karato, since crit damage is for damage dealers. Okay, two more. Another shield. Okay, this one doesn't have crit damage. This is the exact same piece, or am I crazy? Alright, but we go ahead and keep it. Last one. Ooh, nah, this one's pretty good. I thought it was flat HP for a second, but it turns out it's percentage based. The only downside to it is the fact that it has no speed at all. Okay, now we move to the 4 and 5 star pieces. Please, something good. Of course, here we're gonna go for the 10 pop or the 10 pull, whatever you call it. If those are speed boots, nah, we might have something here. Just like that, ladies and gentlemen. Whew. Okay, the substats don't look too good. If only that was attack percentage, then maybe that would be good, but at this stage of the game, I'll just take what I can, man. And we also have the shield. Ooh, this one's pretty good. The chest plate. Okay, it's accuracy, which is good, but you normally want to see attack percentage, defense percentage, or HP percent on a chest plate. I'll still take it, I guess. Then the gloves, yikes. Okay, it's still percentage, so it could be useful later on. Speed boots again. Bro, what is the RNG? Okay, HP percent boots. These ones are not good at all. And then flat attack gauntlets. In this case, we just want to sell it. Okay, we go again. Okay, no gold this time, but okay, and then the last one. And we also ran out of charms. As long as we have perception gear, then we should be good to go. And now the only thing left to do is equip it to these different champions, but I think this is a good part where we can actually end the video. There is a lot of gear changing that I have to do, of course, now that I got a lot of perception gear, which will overall improve our stats, hopefully, and I might actually be able to use some of them long term. But anyways, that is gonna be it for day 5. Make sure to join my Discord group, the link will be down in the description. And of course, if you want to go ahead and try the game out for yourself, make sure to use the link that's down in the description. There's also a TMNT collab going on where you can get yourself a free Michelangelo just by logging in for 7 days, which is something you don't want to miss at all, so make sure to use that link, man. But yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace!